Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show where I'll be doing technical analysis on big mega cap stocks. So, before we get started, please hit that like button, and that is greatly appreciated. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, if you want to go above and beyond, get all my daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of setups, definitely check out the link down in the description for Patreon. So, what is going on in the market, guys? Well, Trump's tariff actually got blocked, and that news came out yesterday, right after Nvidia's earnings, and then market was up another 1.5%. In top of I think 0.74% that was up after Nvidia releasing earnings. So that was a massive gap up, but everything pretty much faded, and the market actually went red for the day and then recovered some of the losses, and now pretty much going up and putting a green day out there, but not by much. You can see, I mean, just barely green, or you can call this, pretty much a flat type of day with a lot of confusion that you can see right on my screen. So, Trump chickening out on those tariffs, that's one thing, keeping this market alive and just going and rallying. And now that, they're going to actually go and appeal for that block that was put by court on tariffs. So a lot of confusion here in this market. But guess what? Even with all that confusion, market was able to produce a green day today, and that's not too bad for the bulls. Now, what the market did today, well, you can see stock market map. Nvidia alone was up nearly 6%, and now gave back some of those gains, up 3.25%. Microsoft going flat, Apple flat, Amazon up 0.5%, Google flat, Meta flat, Tesla pretty much flat on the day. 11 sectors, risk off move, healthcare leading the way on top, real estate, utilities, financial, energy. What we got here market wise, well, Dow is up 0.28%. It was up more than 1.28%, I think, in the morning. Then Nasdaq was up 2%, gave back only up 0.39, and the rest is pretty much a flat. Nothing really up that much except one name, which is Nvidia. And I think there was some news with Boeing. Same news, they actually came out, and that thing was up, I think, $12. Besides that, I mean, there's not much really going on in this market, guys. Now, let's talk about the big names, and let's start with Apple. On Apple, stock is down 0.23%, but Apple was up nearly 3%. It was trading around 207 this morning, but before opening, you can see it's already faded. We opened at 203, and from there, Apple actually never recovered and came back all the way down to the support 198 and found support here, and now sitting close to 200. So going into tomorrow's session, Friday, Apple can hold above 198. Watch out for a move up to 204, maybe up to 207, but that's going to require some good news. But I think if you look at overall, big names, Apple is definitely a fantastic opportunity with remaining gaps on top 210 right here almost, and then 221. And look at this, we just came back down to lower band right here, and now we're just away from this lower band. So worst case scenario, I'll just come back down to 193, 190, and this would be even a better opportunity. So Apple here definitely 198, 193, 190 key level of support to watch to the downside. 204 breaks, the next stop 207, and then 210 to close this gap on top. On AMD, it's actually flat on the day, but if you look at my screen, this is actually a bull flag pattern. We gapped up. We did not close this gap, which is still, I think it's bullish pattern here. But so far, this gap up and go is holding, it's trading over this gap. So if this thing wants to come down, 112, that's going to be key line this end. Below that, 111 to 110, this gap fill reversal can act as a support. As long as it's over it can possibly make a move up to 118 and then 122. On Meta, it's up 0.23%, so basically a flat day, but we did close over. You can see it came down to 639, but it held the support here at 638, and now it's back up to 645. So Meta, as long as it's over 638, it can make a move up to 664, 682. Below 638, watch out for this gap to get filled right here, 632.45, and underneath that, 615, and then this gap comes into play, 606.97 on Meta. On Amazon stock, it's up close to 0.5%, but this thing was up, I think, over 3%. It was trading around 212 right here last night, around same time. And now you can see, I mean, gave back all the gains up nearly $1 for the day. But what's good about it is holding over this 5-day moving average 204, and that's the key line in the sand you need to watch tomorrow. Below that 200, and then this gap comes into play close to 195. To the upside, if this thing can hold that 204 range, it can actually make a move up to this gap close to 209, and over that 212 and then 216. On Google stock, it's absolutely flat on the day, but came back all the way down to 5-day moving average in that 172, definitely holding here on Google. So as long as Google is holding 172 to 170, it can actually get that breakout over 176. And if that happens, game on for a move up to 181 to close this gap right here on Google. Now, at some point, if there is some bad catalyst or we get some sort of a selling going on in the market, then definitely, I mean, if you're long here on Google, you need to exit underneath 170, because in that case this trend line will break and this thing can dump easily back down to 168, 165.40, and then even 162. We also left a gap open here at 156.43 on Google. On Tesla stock, it's up 0.43%, so pretty much a flat day. But you can see we got over that 362 range, but gave back all the gains and came back in. So Tesla here, until we clear and hold 362, it cannot make a move up to 375. If this thing does not clear 362, then more than likely it'll come down to this 5-day moving average 351.72, and if that gives up, it's going to fill this gap at 343, and there is also strong support at 330. On Microsoft, it's up 0.29%, so basically a flat day, and it actually came back all the way down to where? Well, 455 held as a support. We did not close this gap today and went back up in the green for the day. So Microsoft, two ways to put it. 455 breaks, we might be pulling back down to 453 to close this gap, maybe even retest 20-day moving average and come down to 447, which is going to be another strong support to watch. Underneath that, you're going to see a dump off down to 434, and you can see these Bollinger Bands are squeezing, guys. So a big move is coming on Microsoft. I can tell you that right now. Upper Bollinger Band coming down and the lower one going up rapidly. So it's going to ping pong in between 464 and I would say 426 for now. But at some point you're going to see a big move, a directional move, whether back up to all-time highs, to brand new all-time highs, or possibly coming back and closing some of that gap from earnings. So watch out here on Microsoft. If this thing breaks below 455, this is going to be the next stop, and then 447 down to 435 right here. So Netflix went down 2%, finally a red day here on the stock and under 1200, and pretty much came down to 1177 here. Found support at this 13-day moving average right here, 1178 to be exact, and now trading right here at 1184. So 1200 will be the resistance to watch, and then 1215 and then 1225 to the upside. This thing gets under 1178, watch out for the support 1163, and from there it can actually make a move all the way down to 1107, down to 1100 flat, and then 1065 down here on Netflix. On Nvidia stock, it's up 3.25%. So this thing was up over 6%. I believe it was trading here at 144, 145 range. But you can see gave back pretty much half of the gains and now down to 139. So Nvidia, one thing I want to say right here, guys, that we left a bunch of gaps just recently. Right here, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, that's the new one from earnings today. Just gap up and go, right? And then Jensen coming out with, news. Well, I guess earnings news, right? 70%, jump on, revenue and all that. So that's just crazy, how, he's able to produce that number. But, to be honest, I don't think, even before, this guy just keeping this stock alive. And at some point, I mean, you think that Nvidia is the only company that sells chips and, does AI and all that? there is plenty of other companies out there, and especially not to mention Chinese ones like DeepSeek, right? So, I mean, this thing got massive pump today and faded. So I think in the short term, it can possibly go up a little bit more, but the main thing here on Nvidia, I think it'll pull back possibly down to 126 or maybe even lower. It might take few days, but I think it's gonna come down here at least in next couple days, right here close to 126. Now going into tomorrow's session, if this thing breaks and holds 144, then it's going back up to all-time highs 100%. If it does not do that, then watch out for a pullback down to this 136 range. As long as that holds, this could be somewhat of a short-term, a trade you can take as long as, again, as long as the support holds. Otherwise, you're going to see a dump off down to 130, and there is your, 200 SMA, which is sitting at 126, a key level to watch. Like I said, it could be pulling back and retesting that at some point. So Nvidia definitely, I mean, there is no big opportunities unless this thing pulls back, and unless you're shorting, that's definitely something where you can be rewarded here on Nvidia stock, but it will take time. If you're shorting this for like weekly puts or something, I don't think that's a good idea, and Nvidia can rip even higher from here. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. I'll definitely keep you updated. Thank you so much and have a great night.